Bloodborne, one of, if not the best SoulsBorne games of all time, according to the internet. But how did it get this title? I had to check it out. So we head over to Marketplace and we find a PlayStation 4 for sale. We buy it and get Bloodborne from the digital store. It's time to start our hunt. The year is 2019. 3 years prior, we attempted Dark Souls and failed miserably, but I needed to try this game. So we click New Game, create our character, and we choose Violent Past as our build because it had the most strength and health. And with that, we start the game. The first half of this video will be a rough reenactment on how I played Bloodborne for the first time. Why only half, you ask? Because if I did the whole video, it would probably be the size of a YouTube short. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you'll see why. The second half of this video will be focusing on tips that I've learned from other players, and also explaining why I believe Bloodborne is the hardest intro to the SoulsBorne series. So the game starts. We are in a dreamlike stasis, frozen as the beings climb on top of you. The screen fades. We wake up on a vintage hospital bed, having just our clothes. So we head forward, open the door, and descend the stairs, reading the messages for attacking and locking on enemies on our travels. All of a sudden, there's a werewolf eating a corpse. We attack and do a massive 2 damage, while the werewolf does half our health in one swing. So we attempt to fight the wolf, but eventually it overpowers us and we meet our demise. When we respawn though, we are somewhere different, somewhere new, outside of a church of sorts, with a toy doll at the bottom of the stairs. And then, the same creatures that were on top of me in the hospital bed are now offering me weapons. So of course we choose the axe and the pistol, the 2 weapons that do the most damage. Then we head back to where we started. We equipped our weapons, learn how to shoot our pistol, and advance through the sick room. This time, the werewolf stood no chance as it falls with a quick 4-hit combo from my axe. We pick up some blood vials, health potions if you're new, and leave the sick room. Once we find some bullets, we open the gate and enter Yharnam for the first time. We take out the 3 enemies and pull the lever, which lowers the ladder for us. We ascend the ladder and we meet a new lamppost, which not only is a respawn point, but also how we get back to the dream area where the doll was. So we head right and start heading through Yharnam, taking out the few enemies in our path. Then we reach a set of stairs with a mob of 4 enemies at the bottom. We take them out and see a gate, so we open it. And then we see a giant wielding an axe. We attempt to fight it, but its defense is too high and it takes us out with ease. But because I'm stubborn, we go back. Accidentally holding R2, we do a heavy attack and boy does it do damage. We take him out after a few swings and get our echoes back, the souls of this game. Now we proceed towards our intended direction. After killing a couple enemies, we turn a corner and there's a mob of 10 enemies all around a fire. So I dive in. All of a sudden I'm taking hits from all directions and I'm basically dead. So we respawn and head back. This time knowing what's ahead, we reach the mob and see the enemy with our echoes. So we dive into him and take him out. We start holding our own in this fight and then bam, suddenly I take a hit, get shot in the back, take another hit and take another bullet and we're gone again. Now we definitely know what's to be expected. Except, due to my own excitement, I forgot the first mob at the bottom of the stairs can also be lethal. And they show us that with no remorse. I sit there and think, hell, this is hard. So we respawn again, this time trying to open the gate. Nope, locked. Then we notice we can drop off the side and avoid the first mob altogether. So that's what we do. This time we take our time, we slowly defeat the outsiders, take out one gunman, and go around the edge of the area. Bam! An enemy jumps around the corner and scares the life out of me. We take him out and advance towards the other enemies around the edge. Picking up items as we pass them, we take out about half the enemies this time before going in. We take 2 bullets and realize we should take out the gunman first. So that's exactly what we do. And through perseverance, we take out all the enemies in the area. Finally we can advance. We make it to a new area with a large fountain in the middle and we see a troll at the gate. Knowing we already beat one of these with a huge weapon, we thought this one shouldn't be too hard. And we were right. We took it out with ease. So we advance further, finding a couple dogs and some enemies. We struggle a little bit, but we win. As we head up the stairs, we cross a bridge and see 2 werewolves. We decide to explore first, hoping to find some new items. We found pebbles. So we head back up to the bridge and try to take on these werewolves. Thinking it shouldn't be too hard. We took out one that was at half health. Yeah, we were wrong. They took us out with ease. Now we have to defeat everything and go all the way around again. So that's exactly what we do. Almost dying to the dogs below the bridge, but we persevere and head back up to the werewolves. We get our echoes off the ground and try again. This time, the wolves kill us even faster. So it's time to go back through again. I'm getting frustrated. So this time, we just run past everyone in the first area and get to the fountain. We take out the enemies and head towards the wolves once more. This time, they are holding our echoes hostage. I try to run past them, but I get jumped at from the side, and so I have to fight. I blink, and the wolves take me out, along with my echoes. At this point, I gave up. That was it for me. for 3 more years. Here's where we talk about why I think this is the hardest intro. So I'm getting more familiar with SoulsBorne games, beating 4 of them by now, Bloodborne being our 4th. We know how these games usually start. This game does not start like that. Usually we start in a prologue area, learn to fight enemies, and usually tackle a small boss as well. This game just throws you into the fire. Huge mobs and strong enemies right from the start. But that's not the only reason I think this is the hardest intro in a SoulsBorne game. Even though we were taught how to shoot our gun, we were not taught about shooting at the right time to stun the enemy and activate the visceral, also known as the critical hit. We also didn't know how to two-hand the axe, which also leads to an overpowered heavy attack. Now let's talk about the 2 bosses in the beginning. Starting with the optional one, the Cleric Beast. To an experienced Souls player, it isn't too hard of a fight. But to someone new, it's intimidating. From a heavy smash to a 2 to 4 hit combo, it's hard to know when you can and cannot attack. I did beat him on my first attempt, but that's only because I had 10 Molotovs. Now let's talk about the actual main story boss. The first real boss of the game, Father Gascoigne. In my opinion, as a new player at the time, he was the hardest boss through my first playthrough, not including the DLC. Even though his first stage melee attacks are easy to tell, his gun hits like a train, using it whenever he dodges out of the way. And if you don't have Viscerals mastered, you are in for a long day. Once he's down to 2/3 health, he will use his axe two-handed. These attacks do have obvious tells on when they're hitting, but if he hits you once, he will combo and rush you, giving you no time to roll away. Even if you master his tells, he still switches to use his gun when you least expect it. And that's just facing his first form. Once he reaches 1/3 health, he transforms into a very aggressive beast. And if you don't have the music box, your chances of beating him are slim to none. This form constantly pushes forward, swinging combos of 5 to 6 attacks in a row and jumping towards you, giving little to no time to get away, let alone heal. In this phase, the only way I could beat him is with the music box once he was in beast form and throwing Molotovs as he covered his ears. In order to beat this boss, you need to know about an item that's not quite obvious to find, nor obvious to get to. And that was my first Bloodborne experience, and also why I believe that Bloodborne is the hardest intro in the SoulsBorne series. If you would like to see my first Dark Souls experience, the video is over on my page. And if you're still watching this and you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, maybe subscribe. Your support means the world to me. Thank you so much.